You're born in 1162 on the Mongolian steppe, basically the middle of nowhere, but make that everywhere. Your name is Temujin. No last name, no zip code. Just a vast, freezing grassland that wants to kill you, a tribe that's one bad winter away from collapse, and a father who named you after a Tatar chieftain he just defeated in battle? Classic dad energy. Your people are nomads, they follow the animals, sleep in felt tents called gurs, and spend most of their time either raiding their neighbors or getting raided. It's chaotic, it's brutal. It's Tuesday. Your family is technically aristocratic. Your dad, Yasuge, is a clan chief, basically the local influencer, except with horses instead of followers. That sounds impressive, until you realize clan chief on the Mongolian steppe means you have slightly more goats than the guy next door. It's not exactly a dynasty, but it's something. And right now, something is everything. Then, at age 9, your whole world detonates. Your dad takes you to find a bride because yes, at 9 years old, this is apparently on the agenda. You find a girl named Berthe from a neighboring clan. She's kind, you like her. For approximately 5 minutes, life feels almost normal. But on the way home, Yasuge stops to eat with some Tatars. The same Tatars he once raided and humiliated. They recognize him. They poison his food. By the time you get back, your father is dead. You are 9 years old. You are now the man of the family. Your tribe, they abandon you. They take the horses, leave your mother Holun with her kids, and ride off into the steppe. No severance package. No goodbye. Just gone. You and your family are left to eat roots and mice to survive. Let that sink in for a second. This is where most stories end. Yours is just getting started. You grow up fast, like terrifyingly fast. You and your brothers hunt, you fight, you survive winters that would make a polar bear tap out. But then comes the moment that almost breaks you for good. A rival clan, the Tetuit, captures you and puts you in a kango, a wooden collar that pins your arms out like a human scarecrow. You're a prisoner, paraded around as a trophy. This is not the vibe. But you escape. With help from a guard who secretly respects you, you slip away into the night, hide in a river, and make it back to your family. Broken? No. Actually the opposite. This humiliation lights something in you that will never go out. Some people get motivated by a gym selfie. You get motivated by literal captivity. Different era. Around age 16, you go back for Berthe, because you said you would. She's still there. You actually marry her. And for a moment, just a moment, life feels good. You're young, you're married, you're building alliances. You reconnect with a powerful blood brother of your father's named Togrul, the Khan of the Karaites. This guy is the regional power broker, the political kingmaker of the steppe. Having him on your side is like getting the top guild in the game to personally vouch for you. Things are looking up. Then the Merkits, a rival tribe, raid your camp in the dead of night. They kidnap Berthe. They take her as revenge for something your father did decades ago. You didn't even do it. Doesn't matter. That's how the steppe works. Generational beef is very much a thing. You are devastated, not just strategically, personally. Berthe is your person. So what do? You call in every favor you have. You, Togrul, and your childhood blood brother Jamuga ride together with a combined army to rescue her. It's a full military operation for the woman you love. You get her back. She comes home pregnant, and nobody ever asks out loud who the father is. Because in this world, some questions are more dangerous than the answers. You raise the child, Jochi, as your own. Full stop. This is either the most emotionally evolved thing you've ever done, or the most politically savvy. Probably both. Here's where things get complicated, though. You and Jamuga, your best friend since childhood, the guy who literally co-led the rescue mission, start drifting apart. Jamuga is brilliant. Charismatic, magnetic, he leads by the old rules. Bloodlines determine rank, aristocrats stay on top, commoners stay at the bottom, forever. No exceptions. You have a different idea entirely. You believe loyalty and merit should decide who gets power, who gets to rise. That's a revolutionary concept in 1180. Honestly, kind of revolutionary now too. The friendship dies slowly, then all at once. You two split your followers and go separate ways. It's the ancient steppe version of a very messy breakup, except instead of unfollowing each other on social media, you raise competing armies. For years, you both grow your factions across the grasslands. And then in 1187, Jamuga catches you slipping. He defeats you in battle, captures some of your officers, and here's the part that tells you everything you need to know about him. Boils them alive in cauldrons, as a message. Jamuga wants you to know he is not playing around. You lose, you retreat, you regroup, You disappear for almost a decade, and historians still are not totally sure what you were doing during those years. Licking your wounds? Planning every detail? Maybe just surviving? Probably all three. What we know is that when you come back different, harder, sharper, unshakable. By 1206, you have done the impossible. One by one, you have united the Mongol tribes under a single banner, not just by winning battles, but by absorbing the losers. You offer defeated enemies a choice: join me and be treated as equals, or resist me and cease to exist. Most people sensibly choose door number one. You're building something nobody has ever built on the steppe before: a unified nation, one people, one law, your law, called the Yasa. Think of it as a legal code, a constitution, except you wrote it yourself, and also you have the largest cavalry force on the planet, so everyone follows it. At a grand assembly called a kurultai, the Mongol clans gather from across the steppe. They give you a title, not just chief, not just Khan, Genghis Khan. It roughly translates to universal ruler, the ruler of everything, of the whole world. At the time, it sounds like ego. Looking back, it reads more like a mission statement. Then, you turn your eyes outward, and everything changes forever. The Mongols have been fighting each other for generations. All that energy, all that violence, churning inward like a storm with nowhere to go. You've just welded them into the most effective military force on the planet. Disciplined, mobile, psychologically terrifying. They ride horses like it's breathing. So what do you do with a weapon that sharp? You find something to cut. First target, the Jurchen Jin dynasty in northern China. These are the people who have been charging your people tribute for decades, basically protection money extracted from the Mongolian steppe. You've watched your people humiliated by this arrangement your entire life. You invade in 1211 with 100,000 soldiers and begin a campaign that stretches across years. Cities fall. The Jin scramble. You don't have siege weapons at first, you're a steppe army, built for speed, not walls. But you learn. You capture Chinese engineers. You adopt their technology on the fly. You adapt in real time. That adaptability, that's your actual superpower. Classic conqueror arc, right? But here's where it gets genuinely dark. In 1218, you make a diplomatic attempt, and this part matters. You send a trade caravan of 450 merchants to the Khwarezmian Empire, a massive and powerful Islamic empire covering what we'd now call Iran, Uzbekistan, and Afghanistan. You want trade, commerce. You send a formal message. Let's do business. The governor of the border city of Otrar seizes the caravan, accuses the merchants of being spies, and executes every single one of them. You send diplomats to the Shah demanding justice. The Shah executes your ambassadors too. He killed your merchants. Then he killed your diplomats. He slapped you across the face twice, in public, and dared you to respond. You are Genghis Khan. You respond. What follows is one of the most devastating military campaigns in all of recorded human history. You bring 200,000 soldiers across some of the most difficult terrain on Earth, crossing deserts and mountain passes in coordinated strikes that military historians still study today. You split your forces into multiple columns, a move that by conventional logic shouldn't work, and hit the Khwarezmian Empire from several directions at once, like a full system crash on a kingdom that didn't see it coming. Cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Urgench, glittering jewels of the Islamic world. Centuries-old centers of science and poetry and trade fall one after another. Some of them are not just conquered, they are erased. The death toll is staggering. We're talking millions of people. Irrigation systems that took centuries to construct are torn apart. Some regions won't recover for 200 years. This is the part of the story where it genuinely becomes hard to keep things light, because the truth is, the destruction is almost beyond comprehension. You are not just winning wars. You are unmaking civilizations. Whether that makes you a military genius or a monster, historians are still arguing about it today. The honest answer is probably both. History rarely deals in clean verdicts. But then something almost human breaks through. You get word that Jamuga, your oldest friend, your greatest rival, has finally been captured after years on the run. His own men betrayed him and handed him to you. You and Jamuga have been chasing each other across the steppe for over 2 decades now. Two kids from the same childhood campfire who became the two most powerful men in Central Asia and then spent their lives trying to destroy each other. Now he's standing in front of you. The chase is over. You offer him mercy. Genuinely. You tell him you want him back at your side. You want the brotherhood restored, even after everything. Jamuga looks at you and says no. He says a sky does not have two suns. There was always only going to be one Genghis Khan, and both of you knew it from the beginning, so just finish it. He asks only for a noble death, no blood spilled, because to the Mongols, spilling a noble's blood on the ground is deeply dishonorable. You grant him that. You have him put to death without bloodshed, with full honors. You grieve. Nobody writes about that part very much, but you do. The final years are relentless. You never stop moving. You're campaigning constantly across multiple fronts, managing the largest empire ever assembled by a single person. You return in 1225 to finish off the Shishya kingdom, a people who betrayed your trust during the Khwarezmian War and never faced consequences for it. You are in your early 60s now, which, given that you've spent roughly 50 years in active combat, is medically improbable. You take a serious fall from a horse in 1225. You are hurt badly. Your body is sending you a very clear message. You do not listen. The campaign against Shishya succeeds, the kingdom falls. You see it done with your own eyes. And then somewhere in northern China, in the summer of 1227, in a military camp on campaign, you die. Quietly. Without ceremony. Just like that. You never see the full empire assembled. You never ride through the gates of all the cities your sons and grandsons will one day conquer. You die the way you always lived, moving forward. The burial is a mystery, just like almost everything else about you. Your body is carried home across the steppe on a long and silent procession. Anyone who witnesses the burial is killed, so the location stays secret. Your tomb has never been found. Somewhere under the Mongolian earth, Genghis Khan is still there, unlocated, unexcavated, unknown, which somehow feels exactly right. You were never a man who belonged in a museum behind glass. Your last recorded words were reportedly something along these lines. Conquer your enemies, see them fall, take back what was taken from you, and witness the faces of those who wronged you, finally filled with regret. Which is, yeah, okay. The concept of therapy was not something you ever encountered. Understandably. So, what do you actually leave behind? The Mongol Empire becomes the largest contiguous land empire in all of human history. At its peak, under your sons and grandsons, it stretches from the Pacific Ocean all the way to Eastern Europe, an area roughly the size of the entire continent of Africa. Your grandson, Kublai Khan, rules China. Another grandson's descendants push all the way to the gates of Vienna. The Silk Road, under Mongol protection, becomes safer and more active than it has ever been. Merchants travel from China to Europe without being robbed, trade explodes, ideas travel, plagues travel too, unfortunately, but that is a whole separate story for another day. You also leave behind something that still shows up in genetics labs today. Scientists estimate that roughly 1 in 200 men alive on Earth right now carry a Y chromosome lineage linked directly to you, which is either staggering or deeply uncomfortable depending on your perspective. Probably both. You are Genghis Khan, born into nothing, orphaned at 9, enslaved as a teenager, abandoned by the very tribe your father led. You clawed your way back through every single loss, took every humiliation and every defeat, and turned it into fuel, and built something so enormous it reshaped the entire map of the world. You weren't born into power, you made power from scratch, on the back of unimaginable loss and relentless, terrifying vision. You destroyed cities. You ended millions of lives. You also built the first true international trade network of the medieval world. You wrote religious tolerance into law at a time when most of the known world was burning people alive for believing the wrong thing. You promoted soldiers based on talent and loyalty when the entire world ran on birthright and bloodline. You are a contradiction so enormous that historians have been arguing about you for 800 years, and they are nowhere close to a verdict. The steppe kid who ate mice to survive became the man who made emperors kneel. Not because of destiny, not because of luck, because you refused every single time, without exception, to stay down. That is the legacy. Messy, massive, and completely unforgettable. The empire you built will fracture within 2 generations, but the world will never, not once, look the same again.